Welcome to A Girl in Love with Tech podcast. My name is Rachel Irabor. I'm a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, a Power Platform, and a Dynamics 365 developer. And today, we're going to be talking about the benefits of GitHub Student Developer Pack, which is very dear to my heart. And it's going to be a different topic from what we have been discussing on this podcast. And our guest for today, our lovely guest for today, we have two guests, which is also new. We have two guests today, and our guests today are Husseinat Etti-Balogun and also Hameed Babatunde. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Hi.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so if we can know more about our guest speakers in order to, if you can please introduce yourself. Hi, Husseinat.
Okay, hi. So as Rachel's kindly introduced me, my name is Husseinat Etti-Balogun, and fun fact, I'm a twin. So people just normally call me Kenny because I'm also Yoruba. I'm a software developer, a space enthusiast, and an open source advocate. I think those are the three main things that anybody should know about me. Thanks for having
awesome.
me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I did not know that you're a twin. That's pretty cool.
Thank you. I didn't choose it, but thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Hameed.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay.
This evening, yeah. So good evening, everyone. My name is Hameed Babatunde, and I'm a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. And yeah, I am currently operations manager at Chimoni. And yeah, it's good to know that Husseinat is a twin. I never knew that. Yeah. So it's Kenny. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. It's pretty yourself. Yeah, thank you very much, Hameed. And our speakers today, yeah, all of us here speaking, we are all Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. And especially if you are a student and you are listening to this podcast, you want to know who a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador is, or what is the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador program. Hi, Hameed, if you can explain this, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors, as we call it, MLSA, the MLSA program in short. It's a community of student ambassadors all over the world, and we are put together to advocate for Microsoft technologies and also learn on-demand skills through leading a community and also hosting different workshops and different events across different Microsoft technologies. Yeah, that's what the MLSA program is. So if you're listening to this and you want to become an MLS, you can just search for Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors on Google and to bring it out.
Yeah, thank you very much. And the MLSA program is an amazing program for you to learn, for you to grow, for you to connect with so many students around the world. Like, you are not just limited to just your local community, and you get to build yourself. And also you have the opportunity to bring others up, to teach others what you know. And one other good thing is that you don't have to think that you have to have too much knowledge on the tool you want to learn in order to teach others. Hi, Husseinat. Do you have anything to say about the MLSA program?
I was even about to say that Ahmed has really hit the head and hit the nail on the head. Is that how you say that? Yeah.
Yes.
He literally touched on everything. So I don't have anything to add, but I also want to say that becoming if anybody is thinking, do I need to do it? Is it that big of a deal? If you become an MLSA, you're not gonna regret it because the people that you're gonna meet, regardless of what you know, the people that you meet alone is going to they're going to be people that you're going to go through your journey, your tech journey with, even maybe some people that you might go through the rest of your life with, So joining communities like MLSA is always something that you should think about doing.
Yeah, is that amazing? MLSA program is that amazing. And so we are going to, like I said from the beginning of this podcast, we are going to be talking about the GitHub Student Developer Pack. This is very beneficial, and a lot of people do not know about this, and we are going to be discussing about it. But first, we are going to try to understand what is GitHub. Yeah. Hi, Husseinat.
Okay, so To me, GitHub is fundamentally like one of the biggest places that open source thrives. Like I said when I was introducing myself, I'm an open source advocate, as I like to call myself. And I think that GitHub, on the surface level, it's a website, right? It's a website that helps people host their projects and it lets other people view and contribute to those projects. But if you want to look at it deeper, it's like GitHub is the driving force of a new generation of software and even hardware because the way that people collaborate on GitHub is something that hasn't been done in like the previous decades. I know when open source when the initiative of open source first started, it was something that scared a lot of people. It scared a lot of proprietary softwares and companies, right? But the way that GitHub has changed that landscape is something to actually be inspired by. People from all over the world have worked together to like send a rover to Mars through GitHub. So I think it just shows the power of GitHub, how it can unite people from all around the world to, just achieve things as a civilization, as a people, as a humankind. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's essentially so amazing. GitHub is so great. It's so awesome because it's like how will I explain this? It's a platform where you get to host your projects, as you have said, and you also get to do so many things. I think there was a time I got to, apart from even hosting your projects, people get to check your profile. Like you can just say what you want, what you are looking for in your career. You can even just put, let me say for instance, you can put the link to your blogs there too. Like maybe you are writing a blog, you can put the links to your blog. You can use GitHub to host your blog. And there's so many things you can do with GitHub and it's amazing. Hi Hamed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to come in the angle of a use case. So I think the first time I heard about GitHub was I think back at 2018 or then when I heard about October 1st. And I think with October 1st, it's more of like the celebration of open source. And I think we had an event on campus and everyone was like curious about okay, what's GitHub, what's open source and all that, how GitHub helps with open source. And since then, I think we've seen GitHub more than just like a platform. We've seen it like a community whereby you can reach out to different people, like see what they are working on, and then start their some of the repo. In fact, for the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors community in Unilag, we have like a organization whereby we encourage people to more of like create repos on our organization. And if you're also having like study boot camps, we create documentation on GitHub. I mean, GitHub is amazing. People think it's just for programmers, but over the past few years, we've seen that even designers can contribute, even technical writers can also contribute to different things. So I see GitHub as a community that it's needed for open source in general, and it's that platform that you know it's very much needed right now. And it all started with October 1st for me. So I don't know if that's the same for every other person, but for me, it started with October 1st.
Yeah, thank you very much, Hamid. And I also see this should to our listeners, if maybe this is the first time you're hearing about GitHub, I think this is an opportunity for you to explore GitHub. And there's so many resources where you can learn how to use GitHub. You can learn on YouTube. You can learn how to use GitHub on even GitHub platform. And also GitHub has a documentation that you can learn. So there's this question I have that I've heard a lot about even before I got, maybe let me say when I got into tech, I was hearing this where people were saying that okay, GitHub is just for developers. Like if I am a, let me say for instance, or maybe I'm a data analyst. Some people just say when I mention to people who are data analysts, or maybe they are just learning data analysts, they just started their career, and I tell them that okay, GitHub is a good platform for you to host your project or for you to document your projects. And they tell me that, that GitHub is not good, that GitHub, they have heard a lot of things that GitHub is just for developers, for people who know how to code and who know programming languages. So what do you think about this perception that people have that I have to be a developer in order to use GitHub? Yeah. Hi, Hameed.
Yeah. So I think at first, the first people, it's all about adoption to me. The first people that first adopted GitHub as a platform and for open source were developers, because people first saw it as a use case for uh hosting their projects, programming projects. But along the way, even GitHub itself has opened up the doors that it's not just for programmers alone. I think during GitHub universe, we saw different ways in which designers are using GitHub to, contribute to projects. And also, due to some of the recent events we've seen, more and more designers are now contributing to open source, using GitHub as the platform. So if you're a designer, please don't be discouraged that majority of the people using GitHub are developers. There is always room for even technical writers, project managers. So I think there's this um, um, project I worked on that I contributed to. What they asked me to do was just based on project management, how we can document all of the flows and all that. So for those who are not so technical, GitHub can also be used for, you can also use GitHub. It's a platform for everyone. But for designers, you can also contribute. You just have to be straightforward with what you want to contribute to, and also be you have to search appropriately for the kind of project that you can contribute to. But designers can contribute, developers can contribute. You can use it. So it's open source. If it was just for developers, I would think they would call it closed source then. Yeah.
Yeah, even for me, even as a Power Platform developer and a Dynamics 365 developer, I can actually host my projects on Power Platform. You understand? Even maybe, for instance, let me say for those who are maybe they are a data analyst and they get to work with their dashboards, stuff like that, to reporting, you can document it on, you can actually document your project on GitHub. Hi, Husseinat.
Hi, yeah. So I when I was first explaining what GitHub was before, I actually forgot to say the main thing, right? Which is that GitHub is as a website that runs on Git. And Git is basically just a version control software, right? It doesn't say it's a developer programming control software. It's just for version control, right? So Git is this software that websites like GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, they use this as like the base of what they built on. So GitHub can be used by more than just developers and coders. You know, you can use it to manage your teams, to share resumes, to like host your portfolio, like Rachel was saying, and to track your work and host discussions. So the fact that I think the fact that people think that GitHub is just for developers, I think it's something that we still need to put our best efforts to change. I think the problem isn't just that people think it's a certain type of techies that can use GitHub. It's also that other types of tech people that actually want to use it, they don't have the same resources, right? They don't have, because like Ahmed said, the first set of people that used
Yeah.
GitHub were the developers. So they created all those resources for themselves. Like if you just go on, if you Google how to use GitHub, the first videos, the first 100 videos that you'll see will be coding related, right? But we need the resources, the YouTube videos, the blog posts, the extra add-ons that people create, right, onto GitHub, so that other people
Yeah.
know this is how I can use it for the project that I want to do that has nothing to do with programming. Yeah.
Yeah, true. And like it's a high time that people stop thinking that I have to be a developer in order to use GitHub. Like what Hamed said you get to meet so many people. The GitHub community, there are so many people on GitHub. GitHub has so many users. And I think there was a time I saw a documentation that I wanted to contribute to on GitHub. I think that was last week, and I was able to ask my question on GitHub there, and I got a reply. So you can, people happy to help. People are happy to help, and there are so many resources online to help you, to help you start your journey. So for today, our topic we're going to be talking about is GitHub Student Developer Pack. And our speakers are going to be speaking about this topic because it's so beneficial. And what I said before, a lot of people do not know about this. A lot of students around the world do not know about this, that there's something, that this opportunity is out there. So hi, Husseinat, what is the benefits of GitHub Student Developer Pack?
Okay, so I'm going to start by explaining what it is first. So it's basically curated access to different sets of programs, software, and learning tools for students, right? So the different packs, the different sets within the pack, they vary depending on the route that the student is following within the tech ecosystem. So they don't have these exact names, but there's one for like content creation, data science. I think there's one for like designers, stuff like that. Yeah. So those packs, those sets are basically curated for, okay, I think GitHub goes, I think this is what students need. I think this is what students that are doing, learning to do design or learning data science. I think this is what they're going to need and this is what they're going to benefit from. So the packs that I actually mostly use are the, I think it's called virtual events and the hosting in the cloud, because when I write my code, I use Visual Studio Code, and that's you have like extra privileges when you use VS Code through the Student Developer Pack, the link, the keys that they give you. I also use GitLens, and I also use GitHub Pages through that pack. But the main thing that has been of help to me has been the StreamYard access, because I host bi-weekly sessions on Microsoft Reactor called Open Source Thursdays, where I've collaborated with like Microsoft Cloud Advocates, fellow MLSAs, and really anybody that's willing to talk to me for like 30 minutes. So StreamYard has been a huge help for me, because first of all, it's not hard to set up, and second of all, like, free access. Who doesn't want free stuff, you know?
Yeah, who doesn't want free stuff? So true. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Husseinat.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were still speaking.
No. I also wanted to say that I don't want to talk too much, because I know that Ahmed also has benefited from the pack as well. I have other benefits like meeting new people. Actually, during my my bi-weekly sessions has forced me to become more consistent, which is great, because it's good to have like accountability partners through MLSA that are like, this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do this at this time, you know. That's also been a huge help for me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Nothing like an accountability partner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Hameed.
Yeah, so I mean, I have so many testimonials from using GitHub Student Pack. I mean, it's first of all, when I wanted to learn, when I first when I first started learning GitHub, I didn't know Git. Like it was like a headache to me, like having to learn the commands. And so I think it was a friend of mine that introduced me to using the Pack, using my university email address to more of like sign up and do all the verification. And the number of resources from using front-end masters to learn about Git, front-end web development, to using Canva. So even there was at our community in the MLSA community, we had like this 12 months free Canva. I think most people use it. Mine has elapsed, but for the 12 months, I was able to use Canva for free, like the premium package, and also for some of the things like Azure, like I can't talk about the benefits of the numerous benefits in that area, like the $100 you get for Azure to build stuff, to deploy stuff. It's really amazing that area. But like Husseinat said, like StreamYard, I activated my StreamYard subscription, the 12 months for free recently, because we also have something called Azure episodes where we talk about different workshops, and we want to like um do like a YouTube live stream and all that. And just the benefits are just numerous. And for students, I think I think I have this habit of mine that every month I'm always checking the park. Is there something new? Like I'm always bumped up to check that. Oh, is there something new? And I was like, oh, they StreamYard. Like I didn't even know they were StreamYard at first. I think it was this year they added it. So I was like, oh, they StreamYard now, and I was like, oh, I just signed up and I started watching videos, and the benefit that I've not utilized half of it. And even
Yeah,
Studio
it's a
sent me,
lot.
there was a time they're just a lot. And I think
Yeah,
what the GitHub team is doing is amazing. I think they know what students want and they incorporate it into the educational part. So this is like a shout out to them. Thank you for providing GitHub Student Developers Pack, and we love it.
yeah, thank you very much. Nothing like something free, especially when you're a student. There are a lot of things that we can't afford, you understand? So it's actually amazing. And I think you guys actually just talked about your own personal experience on GitHub Student Developer Pack. Or do you have any other thing to say about your own personal experience? Apart from your use of StreamYard, is there any story on how GitHub Student Developer Pack has saved you? Yeah, stuff like that. Hi, Husseinat.
There's I don't even know how to explain it. There's is it software, a program? There's a course, yeah. There's this thing called Educative. I don't really know how to say
Yeah,
what it is, but there's this thing called Educative where you can learn they give you free, not free, but they give you structured courses on different topics that you want to learn. And there was a time that I was really, really trying to learn Python for space related programming, not just like web development, but like space software and stuff like that. And I was really, when I first went on Educated before I became an MLSA, that course I couldn't do it because like it was money and I couldn't pay that money. So then when I became MLSA and I saw that Educative was also in one of the packs, I was like, thank God. So that was really nice for me. I was finally able to do that course that I really wanted to do, which actually helped me a lot. Like I understood, it helped me understand like, okay, this is where I want to go within the space sector and
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Hi, Hameed.
Yeah, for me, it's a front-end masters. Like um I suck at before 2017. I suck at content, at least for the most part of it. And I was like, which resources can I use to learn front end? And I then GitHub Student Developer offers you like this 6 months for free. If you know front end master, they have like this premium content courses and all that. So I was able to learn some parts of content development, although I'm not so great at it. But yeah, for me, it's content masters and also Canva.
Yeah.
Canva was like a blessing to me. Because if you don't have like graphic design skill set, the way Canva
Yeah.
makes it so easy, like
Easy. Yeah, thank
you,
you.
I can show. So I've designed so many slides, and I show some of my friends like, and they're like, "Well, you said you're not a designer," and I'm like, "Oh, no worry, I have Canva to help me out." I still miss it a lot. I wish they can bring it back though, like the
Yeah.
7 months, like in it. But yeah, I think those are my personal experiences. Like, there's an Azure, like the $100 Azure credit,
Yeah,
like
Azure. Thank you very much. Azure,
that was
yes. Ah,
that was amazing. Like from not learning anything about cloud computing to at least
yeah.
having some knowledge and having workshops, like having free credits. I think people
Yes.
don't know how expensive those things are in real life, like $100. And the fact that you I think there's a time that your credit card couldn't work with Azure, and that
Yes.
GitHub Student Pack was like the
Yes.
lifesaver to so many students. Like
Yeah, I was
so
thinking to point it out now that like a lot of people are trying to get there is Azure for students, and a lot of people when you do not have like maybe the required school documents to actually apply for Azure for students, you can use GitHub Student Developer Pack to get access to Azure for students. Yeah, I was thinking to point that out too. Yeah,
yeah,
thank you.
absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So, okay, I think we have discussed about personal experience from the speakers. And I think we have also covered how GitHub Student Developer Pack has benefited us. Yeah. Hi, Husseinat.
Hi, sorry, I didn't get what you said at the end.
Okay, I said we have talked a lot about GitHub Student Developer Pack, the benefits, our personal experience, and I think we touched base about how GitHub Student Developer Pack has benefited us. But if we can drop some points on how we think GitHub Student Developer Pack has developed us, has benefited us. Yeah.
I'm thinking because I know that I haven't used the pack to the fullest, like,
Yeah, say lots.
So I want to urge anybody that when you get the opportunity, like when you get the student developer pack, I think you should take the time to at least try to experience the majority, if not all, of the things that they offer. Like there's something called there's this I think it's also like I did Google Summer of Code, and I thought that Major League Hacking was something like that, where you do a kind of like an internship or apprenticeship.
Yeah.
I know that that's something that I haven't experienced. I definitely want to. That's another additional benefit within the Hackathon in the Cloud hack that I haven't experienced that I would love to. And I've spent time managing people for like a website that I was asked to build, right? And something that I definitely will use that I haven't started using yet is Figma, because I had to get front end people, designers, and then I was working as part of the back end. But the Figma use of Figma kind of like I was always very confused as to how the designers did it. But seeing that like Figma is part of the Aspiring Creatives pack, it's definitely something that I also want to use in the future.
Yeah, Figma is great too. Figma is really, really great. Yeah, Figma is great. Okay.
I also want to urge people to also take advantage of the Microsoft Learn benefits within the Code Spaces pack as well. Like you don't have to be an MLSA to get the developer pack, obviously, but it's
true.
an added benefit.
Yeah, true. You don't have that's true. You don't have to be like a MLSA. You don't have to join the MLSA program in order to use the GitHub Student Developer Pack. But joining the MLSA program is actually a big bonus. You can still be a student and apply for GitHub Student Developer Pack. Yeah. Thank you so much, Husseinat. Thank you for the marvelous advice and pointing out so many benefits that people can tap into. Yeah. Hi, Hameed.
Yeah, so I think for me, it's before I became a MLSA, like I think I've used like let's say 10% of the benefit for GitHub Student Pack, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I did use front end mentors, Canva, and the rest of them. So I think the first advice I'll give to anyone that is looking to utilize GitHub Student Pack is be deliberate. I think the mistake I did was that when session I wasted I would say I wasted the front end mentors pack because I I used it deliberately for like 3 months, and the rest of the 3 months was wasted because there was I was in school and it was hard to balance school and learning at that time. So you should be deliberate. Like if it's good, like if you're a first year student, it's perfect because you have like, let's say if you're doing a 4 year course, you have like enough time to maximize it. And another thing is that you can also reach out to people, like people that have also used it. Like, okay, what do you think about like this thing, and what do you think about this benefit, and will it be useful to me right now? Because once you use it, it's gone. Like it's gone. So you just have to like be intentional about the benefits. And I mean, it's free, but at the same time, try to incorporate it into your own your project, your personal learning,
Yeah.
and before you know it, it's more of like it's going to be very useful. But there are sometimes I've used some of the benefits that I wasted it. It was because it was in abundance. But I'm I'm grateful that, like, for example, the Azure credits, I wasted it. Like, even though that I became an MLSA, and
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been able to use the Azure benefits. But yeah, I think there's so many things that you can if
Explore.
yeah, you can explore. If you're a designer, it's open. Like, that's why I said that GitHub wouldn't be open source if it was just for developers. It would be closed source. So the student
Yeah,
pack is a
true.
reflection that if you're a developer, if you're a designer, if you're a low code developer, it's open for you. Like, just explore with it, and also post. The GitHub team like something. They like when people tell them about what you use their the benefits for. So if you build like numerous projects, just tell them how you use the benefits to to use in your project, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. And thank you so much to our speakers for explaining so much about the GitHub Student Developer Pack. And there's so many points they made that I did not even know was part of the GitHub Student Developer Pack, which is amazing. And there's one thing too I want to point out about our speakers is that you don't have to be like, even though you're a student, you can do so much as being a student. Husseinat and Hameed, they are doing so much in their careers. I see them online. I see Husseinat. I think Husseinat has a TikTok.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I saw your post on MLSA Nigeria. I was like, okay, I went to your TikTok and wow, this is amazing. You're posting so much, and that's actually really nice because you're trying to teach others. You're showing people the rope on careers in tech. Is amazing. So thank you very much.
Thank
I
you
think
so
I'm
Yeah,
much
going.
for
thank
having
you.
me, and thank you for
Yeah,
going through my social media.
yeah.
I
I
think
think
I
I'm going to.
enjoyed this.
You said?
I enjoyed this podcast. Like, yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to get the links to your social media in order to add it to this podcast so that if anyone has any questions, they can easily reach out to you. So do you have any advice that you want to give our listeners on maybe on the MLSA program, GitHub, or on the GitHub Student Developer Pack?
Um.
Yeah, I think okay, we say that and go. Yeah.
Oh, I was I was gonna say something more relating to the MLSA um community. Like when you want to apply, there are like two main ways of applying. Like I think you should always check within your school if you have an MLSA community already. Then it's just easy to be like, hey, I want to join. Because the way MLSA works is you can nominate people. So if you have a community already, there will be plenty of people ready to welcome you and to just nominate you, right? And to try as much, like I think people kind of shy away from leadership opportunities, and when you apply for MLSA, they want to see that side of you. They want to see that you know how to work in a team as well as work independently and kind of take the reins and take initiative. Um, so I think whenever you get the opportunity to lead people or teach people or take initiative, you should always do that.
Thank you so much. I think the MLSA program was the first time I got to like host an event where I got to record and I was still speaking. So I was kind of nervous and it was nice. And I had so many MLSA ambassadors on the call who were also very supportive. So the community is very supportive. You get to learn, you get to grow, and you also get to connect with people all over the world. Thank you very much, Husseinat. Well, I get your name wrong.
Is it okay we call you Kenny, isn't it?
Is that?
Sorry?
I think you can call her Kenny, right?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay, I can
Okay.
call you what?
Kenny, like Kenny.
Okay, Kenny. Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Okay.
just advice for me is I think for the MLSA program first, it's before we became MLSA, like the pioneers of MLSA Unilab made it like they ingrained like community into us. Like um it's more about how you can serve the community, like your skill, the people you know, and your time, how you can, contribute towards helping others. So if you have that kind of capability, I do say this all the time, that you don't have to wait till you become an MLSA to try to host your own workshop or even reach out to those that are currently MLSAs. You can do that. And then when you become, you go into the MLSA program, it's become easier. I think for me, that was the way it was, because for the fact that I knew so many MLSs before I joined the program, and by the time I joined the program, I was able to network well and know what I wanted. And if you're also into the program and you're a little bit confused and as regards how to contribute, just find a particular niche in which you want to like advocate on and also train others on, or even volunteer at, then you can move from there. I think for me, it started with open source. Yeah, I remember my first MLSC event that promoted me to beta. It was open source itself, like Git, and I think I trained people in Kenya, like my friends
Wow,
there, and
that's nice.
that was the first Kenyan person I knew. Fantastic, right?
Yeah.
That's the kind of, so from there, right now, I probably know a little bit of Swahili, and I know some amount of Kenyan people as well. So you just have to start from somewhere, then you can pick it up and reach out to people, and that's the advice. And for the GitHub Student Pack, please apply if you haven't applied, and if you have the benefits, please utilize it before you graduate, because once you graduate, it's all gone. And
Yeah.
yes, one thing, please try out Copilot. It's amazing. Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I'm planning to. The next topic I'm going to be hosting on GitHub is going to be on GitHub Copilot, because I think that's a very big topic that students too needs to explore apart from professionals. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah. Okay,
Okay,
there's
so just a random question for you guys. You know how MLSA you can extend your ambassadorship, like even if you graduate and then you like start doing masters, as long as you're still a student, like even if you're a postgraduate student. Does the same thing
Mhm.
apply for the student developer pack? Like if you're a postgraduate student, would you still be able to like reapply for it?
Yeah.
I think
Yes, you
yeah, I
should.
think so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I think
should.
so.
So far, you have your email, and you have like you can verify your
Like ID
studentship. Yeah.
card. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you can. Yeah. And there's also something I want to point out is that if you want to apply, I can just easily just say the website. If you want to apply for the GitHub Student Developer Pack, you can easily go to education.github.com/pack, or you can easily search on Google or Microsoft Edge for the GitHub Student Developer Pack. And also, apart from students, teachers also have benefits, like they can also create an account. They can create a GitHub Student Developer Pack. And one other thing to know is that before creating your GitHub Student Developer Pack, you need to have a GitHub account in order to create this. So you don't have to scared about how can I create my GitHub account. Just check on YouTube, and I'm sure there's a lot of videos you can learn or you can see on how to create one. So thank you so much to our speakers for showing up and for actually giving us an amazing discussion, for pointing out so many things out, talking about their personal experiences and also the benefits of GitHub and GitHub Student Developer Pack, and even on MLSA, because we are all Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors. Yeah. So thank you, and see you in the next podcast. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for having me.
Bye. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Kenny. Bye.
Yeah, bye.